Did you know there is a very simple strategy that you can practice at home to save grocery money, increase your nutrition intake, enrich your garden or planter soil, and save the earth? Do you know what that strategy is? It's called zero waste cooking. You may have heard of it. Today I'm going to show you all the main points of zero waste cooking in 10 minutes. Hi everyone, I'm Lisa Cheplack and I'm a nutrition chef with Green Our Planet. Welcome to my kitchen. Did you know that Americans throw out roughly 40% of the food they buy each year? That's the highest percent of any country on the planet. The average American wastes more than 200 pounds of food a year, worth about $1,500. Compare that to the average African or Southeast Asian who wastes only an average of 10 pounds of food a year. All of that food waste has a big impact. That is food that could help solve world hunger, and the wasted food uses up tons of fertilizers, water, and chemicals. Not only that, but spoiled food ends up in trash dumps where it produces methane gas, which heats up our planet's atmosphere. In fact, if food waste were a country, it would rank just after the United States and China in terms of producing greenhouse gases. So what are we going to do about this? How can we waste less food in our homes, save money, and reduce our carbon footprint? Well, I am going to show you some simple things you can do to do just that. One strategy to reduce food waste in your home is simply buy smaller amounts of food and only when you need them. It's when you buy large amounts of food that more of it goes to waste. Another strategy is to make sure that foods that should be eaten quickly or have expiration dates are placed in the refrigerator so that they are easily accessible. You can also freeze foods so that they will last considerably longer. A third strategy to incorporate is to start practicing zero waste cooking. Zero waste cooking means you use every part of the fruit or vegetable to reduce waste and to get those nutritious benefits out of the whole fruit or vegetable. One of the easiest ways to get started with zero waste cooking is to think about what you can do with all the scraps that you normally throw away. So what can you do with the tail end of carrots or tops, carrot peels, onion skins, scraps of herbs? The first is finding new recipes and ways to use the scraps. For instance, how many times have you thrown away the broccoli stalk? You can cut these up, roast them in a pan with some olive oil and seasonings, and they're delicious. Or you can chop them up and add them to your salads. Another thing you can do is use your citrus peels. You can use the zest, which is the outside skin, and you can use the zest in salad dressings and baked goods. And then if you have some herbs around that are getting a little wilted, you can chop these up and add them to your salsas. They're so delicious. Another zero waste tip is to compost your veggie scraps. Composting is a way to break down vegetable material using natural microorganisms into compost or fertilizer. And the amazing thing is that you can do it right in your house or in your own backyard. I have this compost container that I keep on my counter just to remind me to compost my scraps. So these are some things like old lettuce leaves, maybe some extra scraps from Brussels sprouts. So I'm going to add these to this bin with an odor-free lid that sits on my counter. And then when it's full, I can take my compost out to my garden and add it to my compost pile. And then it will turn into soil and it will add right back into my garden. You can find out some more compost resources on Green Our Planet's website. Finally, another thing that you can do with your veggie scraps is to make a delicious veggie broth that you can use for soups. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. I'm going to show you a really simple way to use your veggie scraps to make a delicious veggie soup broth. The first thing you're going to need for your vegetable soup broth is a stock pot or a soup pan. I filled it about halfway full of water. Next, you're going to start adding your veggie scraps. I have some scraps that I've been saving in the freezer. If you don't have time to make your soup broth right away, you can just add your scraps to the freezer and just use them when you're ready. So I have some carrot peels and some celery and some onion and some different scraps that I've been saving over time. So I'm going to go ahead and add those to my pan. We're going to use a mix of frozen scraps and fresh scraps. Now before we add the fresh vegetables, I'm going to tell you a few vegetables that you cannot add to your soup. You don't want to add any broccoli stems or cruciferous vegetables, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, broccoli. It's just not going to give your soup a very good taste. You want to do other things like roasting broccoli or those vegetables, or just adding those to your compost bin. The other skins that you don't want to add to your soup is potatoes, white potatoes or sweet potato skins. Those are going to make your soup really cloudy. You also wouldn't add any zest or citrus to your soup or any scraps like that. If you don't know what to do with scraps, you can always just put it right in your compost bin, because we know those are always going to go to a good place. The first is the onion and the garlic and the leek. Those are all wonderful nature's medicine, lots of great antioxidants. They fight disease, keep us healthy, really great for our immune system. You should almost eat those 3 vegetables every single day. Anything in that family of vegetables, really delicious and so heart healthy and good for you. The next is the carrot, such a great source of vitamin A and vitamin C, and there's so many vitamins right in that skin, and we usually just peel it off and throw it away. So now we're going to get all those nice nutrients right into our soup. Really great for our eyes and our skin health is vitamin A. And then we have our celery, which is a really great source of potassium. Celery is so wonderful, part of your everyday diet, and there's so many wonderful things that you can do with celery. Mushrooms are a great source of vitamin C, and they have a lot of wonderful antioxidants too that are going to keep your body healthy. So this is going to be such a nourishing, delicious soup that is going to have so many wonderful benefits. And some tomatoes. Tomatoes are a great source of antioxidant lycopene, and they're really nutritious, a really great source of vitamin C that's going to be good for your immune system. Your herbs may kind of get wilty over time. Maybe you've neglected them in your refrigerator. Those are going to be the perfect addition to your soup. Don't be shy, just load it up and get all those wonderful vegetables and scraps in there. I have so many good scraps in here. It's going to be amazing. Before we get ready to cook our veggie broth, we're just going to add some seasonings. We're going to add some peppercorns, and we're going to add some bay leaves and some salt. And then feel free to add any extra herbs or seasonings that you like. This is really an easy, customizable veggie broth that you can really make with any kind of seasonings or veggies that you have on hand. So now we're going to put it on high heat. We're going to bring it to a boil and simmer it for an hour. And then I'm going to put a lid on it once it's boiling, and we'll check back in on it shortly. So now that our broth has been simmering for an hour, the house smells delicious, and we have this beautiful colored broth where all of those vitamins and nutrients have been drawn right out of those vegetable scraps. So now we're going to strain it. To strain your broth, you're going to need a fine mesh strainer just like this one. I love the size of this one. And then you're going to get a large bowl, preferably stainless steel, and the strainer is going to fit right over the bowl. So then you're going to just scoop the vegetable scraps right into the strainer, and you are going to press down and get all those juices out, and it's just going to drip right down into your bowl. And into our compost. And then we can pour it on right on in there too. And all that wonderful broth right into our bowl. There's so many different ways to use your vegetable broth. You can use it in a vegetable soup, like a minestrone. You can use it as a cooking liquid for quinoa or rice or other grains. and you can use it to cook fresh vegetables. So many wonderful ways to use your nutritious broth made with vegetable scraps. So it really is that simple to make your own veggie broth out of veggie scraps. And what I really love about it is that it made 4-quart jars full. So I can use this veggie broth all week in different recipes. So I hope this inspired you to make your own veggie broth out of veggie scraps and to also try different recipes using your veggie scraps. And remember, if you want to throw out less food, improve your nutrition, save yourself some money, and help the planet, get started on zero waste cooking today. It's simple, it's interesting, and it's a satisfying way to get the most out of the food that you buy. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.